in many conversations with actors, I've heard from them what it's like to go into an audition and be auditioning and selling themselves and trying to get a part. I'm curious, as filmmakers, what it's like to be on the other side of the table. If it's a different kind of anxiety, if it's just the joy of discovery. I'm thinking Steve when Lupita walked in and, or I guess saw your video. In terms of auditions, how does it feel as a director when you're meeting with these people and trying to discover the movie that you're going to make? Or do you really know what you're after, or are you waiting for surprises? Who wants to start?
I'll start.
I'll go, Nicole, yes, please.
Well, it's a shame because sometimes somebody will walk in the door and you know already that you're not going to cast that person, and you have to have them read.
Before they've said a word.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, I'm sure you can be surprised sometimes, so it's painful for me to know that they have to go through that. I don't like auditioning people. As exciting as it can be when you do find the right person, I tend to take on their anxiety and want to take care of them. And by the time I get home, my face hurts so much from,
It's
that
it's
was
like
great.
a toast, you know, the middle of a bad toast, and you want to like, you know, and then like, you got to get better at that. Does anyone love that process? Because some people I know.
The secret to auditioning, auditions is a great casting director.
Right.
And I had an amazing lady called Francine Maisler, who was just for 12 Years a Slave. It was amazing.
How does she keep you from having your face hurt?
Because she's showing them the good
Well,
people.
well, exactly. It hurts
No
less.
chaff all week.
It's what?
It hurts less.
Yeah.
You know, not well. In the Lupita case, it was you know, it was one of those situations because unfortunately, you know, a lot of black actresses don't get the opportunity because then there's not a lot of roles, so therefore people don't become actors, or they don't have enough you know, training as such because there isn't the roles, or you know, whatever. So that was that. Looking for Lupita was, again, I said it was like looking for Scarlett O'Hara. It was over 1,000 actresses. We looked at models, all kinds of people. So when she was a diamond in the rough. I mean, as soon as she appeared, it was just like, you know, something else. But Francine Maisler deserves a lot of credit. She's amazing. Yeah, astonishing. Yeah.
Spike, what about casting? Do you enjoy the process?
Well, I
Do you
mean, I
find
definitely feel the pain of when somebody's anxious and you want to make them comfortable, but I also feel like I learn so much about what the character needs by reading with people right and wrong.
Yeah.
And you kind of get down to the essence of what the character is, and therefore you start to know what the essence of the person you need to cast is. And often it's very different from, like when we did adaptation, I read many different people for the character of John LaRoche that Chris Cooper ended up playing. And you know, younger, more handsome guys, because he was kind of described as, despite missing teeth, kind of sexy, and and we read all different people. And when I started reading with Chris, the sort of swagger and confidence of that character wasn't what Chris had done or who he is, but the sort of hurt of that Chris has was really compelling. And I realized that's the essence of the character. We need an actor like Chris to play this character, John LaRoche's pain, and then we can sort of create the swagger and the confidence and the condescending, all of that other stuff. And sort of, you know, we frosted his hair and tanned him, and you know, he lost some weight, and we obviously put in the fake teeth that are missing, and sort of created all the other stuff on top of that. And it was sort of just learning through that process, and so I owe a lot to all the people that are willing to come in and read with me, because I learn who the character is, and
So the casting process actually made you kind of reconsider as how you had seen this person, not just that you were
not necessarily
looking.
even reconsider, just you know, being more naive than like more naive than that in terms of I really don't know, and you know, trying to just go in open to discover. Yeah.
Right.
The other interesting thing I was thinking, maybe why your face hurts the way it is it's the first time I'm just realizing I wrote usually the words, and it's the first time you're actually hearing anyone ever say them.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes in that casting room, and I'm sitting there, and it's almost in a weird way, it's like an actor on display, but it's also your words, and you're sitting there. You know, it's like this feeling. Sometimes I have to look away, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be looking at this person, because hearing your words for the first time, you're like, is this whole thing going to work? You know, and it can be. You know, I had never thought of it that way, but sitting there, it literally is the first time, you know, you're sort of hearing someone say that stuff.
And then you get to rewrite it.
You realize where your problems are. John, what about you?
I agree with Spike that you do learn a lot from hearing different interpretations of, you know, what's written. But I think every decision you make, and the first one being who you cast, every decision you make about the character through prep, what watches they wear, what rings they wear, just keeps kind of adding layer on layer on layer for you to have a better understanding of who this person is.